Hello, this is R.R. Hernandez, and today's topic is the power of forgiveness. And for the most part, from a religious perspective, I think just about all of us have a clear understanding of the process of forgiveness, and the necessity that we have as human beings to forgive, one another. But today I'm going to use a few prompts here to kind of convey this message in a more clear, concise way, so that we really understand it. Not from a intellectual perspective, but mostly from a spiritual standing, from a spiritual view. So, we're gonna compare our lives, with this glass here, with this, call it a cup of life, if you want to. You can call it your life, my life, our lives. But and it's crystal clear, right? But as we move on along our lives, this thing called life, things happen, and as they happen, they tend to accumulate, especially those experiences that really hurt. Because the more they hurt, the more we bury them. And then we bury them, and then we plant a flower bed on top of those memories, and it's difficult to remember them so that we can process them and let them go. And the best tool is given through us to just about every religion across the board, especially Christian religion. Christianity. So here's your life, here's my life, right? And here we are, nice and clean, and here's the cup of our life, or the glass of our life. But what happens is things do happen, because that's the pain of being human, I guess. And here we are. So we have an experience in our childhood, or as we grow, hurtful one. We don't forgive. We don't know how. We're too angry. So that's our first layer. We have another experience. Now it's beginning to, as you can see. Now, although this is just black coffee, let's say this is something, those wounds become angry, rancid, putrefact, venomous, poisonous. We have another experience throughout life, whatever it may be, but it hurts. And we don't forgive it. It continues to accumulate. Then we have a couple of experiences. We have good and, let's call them, positive and negative experiences. But these negative experiences continue to pile up. And this is what we wind up with. Take a good look at it. And like I said, and I'll talk about the reason why some people have difficulty forgiving. Because we don't forgive, we don't want to, we don't know how, we're just too angry to forgive. And by the way, whatever happened doesn't mean that it was your fault or my fault. I have my experience too. This is not about the blaming game. This is about letting go. Remember that one? Let go, let God. Well, this is what we wind up with. Now, let's say you are praying for a blessing. Something new, something refreshing to come into your life. right? And there is our Lord, God, fulfilling his promise of giving us our daily bread, which, by the way, it's not all about bread, blessings of every kind. But when that water of life is poured into this cup of life, or glass of life, or cup of life, because it is contaminated, that blessing immediately is contaminated. Besides, this space is occupied. Can't receive anything new. Because what? It's occupied. Another thing is this. While we live a life of non-forgiveness, this sikuta, as Socrates would call, Socrates, this poisonous, venomous potion is what we're giving our loved ones, children, our spouse, our friends, the people we love most. And it's not because we're bad people, it's because this is all we have. This is what our life has become through the process of what? Resentment. It's terrible. It kills the soul. But we don't despair, because we're told, not only it's in the Bible, but across most religions, that through forgiveness, beautiful things happen. So what we do is, through forgiveness, we empty out our cup. And we start forgiving. Oh, by the way, so how do we forgive? Well, I don't want to see his or her face again ever in my life. Well, there's no need to. Forgiving is more like a spiritual thing. So what I do is, I hold the person's name in my mind's eye, whatever. I just bring him to my consciousness, and I just tell him, I'm going to let you go, and I forgive you. And I forgive you, and once I forgive, I forget, and I let go, and I get out of the way, and I let God. So here we go. So we empty it out, we clean it, right? We clean it. How do we clean it? Right? Nothing like pure crystal water. Doesn't the Bible say that? Right? Crystal water, like living rivers and all that kind of stuff. That's it for a purpose. And then we clean it. Remember, our life, the best we can. We clean it. Process of forgiveness. I forgive you. I let it go. In fact, when you can love your enemy, you're going places. But I didn't say that. Jesus said it. Pray for the enemy. Pray for the ones that persecute you. So, it's clean now. Hey, guess what? Look what's here. The daily bread, the new blessings. You have space now. It's been clean. Whoa. Here's life. Whoa, every day. What a big difference, right? Yeah. What a big, you see the difference now? Voila. Now we are in a better position to receive. And as we receive these blessings, we give them to our loved ones. And when we say, I love you, we really, really give them these blessings, and we are empowered. We're human beings, we're not turtles. We're not meant to walk around with a shell or a snail. We're not snails and we're not turtles. We don't need to walk around with a shell. We don't need to walk around with extra baggage. So now, let's go on let's go on and discuss why people, or some people, or most people, have difficulty forgiving. Well, number one is, I've been talking to people just about all my life. Everything I've done all my life is work with people since I was 12, right? Delivering newspapers in Jersey at 12 years old with a bitter cold until the last employment, which was about 8 months ago. Same thing, working with people. And what I hear from them is this: why it's difficult to forgive for some or most people, not all, remember. Reason number one: the other person doesn't deserve it, or the other party, or the other parties, or whatever case may be, the other people. And you know what? You are absolutely right. They don't deserve it. But guess what? You do. You see, this forgiving process is not for them or for him or her. It's for you. It's for your own sanity, for your own health. Oh, but they got away with it. I can assure you, no one gets away with anything in this world. Oh, but by the way, word of caution: should you be a witness? Should you bear witness when life is passing the tab on someone else that have hurt you? Do not celebrate, because again I say, life will pass on the tab, usually with compound interest. Don't worry. The important thing is that this forgiving process is for you. Let go. Get out of the way and let God. And I think that's the most difficult thing, to get out of the way. We can always talk about that sometime. The other going back to the reason, that was like a sideline there, but going back to the other reasons why people tend to not forgive. Well, I have difficulty forgiving, they'll say. Okay, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. If you forgive, but you do not forget, and this is a very personal opinion, I think that you're worse off than those that do not forgive. Forgive and forget and let it go. Make space, remember the cup. Make space for new things. A space that's occupied cannot receive anything new, if you think about it. That's just common sense. I've also heard, well, you know what? I'm in control of my life now. I don't need forgiveness. I don't need to forgive anyone. Well, guess what? Where we hold grudges against another person or persons, we're not in control. You know who's in control? They are. The other person is in control. They're occupying the space in our lives. We're not in control. They are. Let go. Get out of the way. Let go. And don't give them any power. Recuperate your power and your authority. And again, I go back to the space is occupied. By forgiving, you're making space for beautiful new blessings and something different in your life. God's promise is to give us our daily bread. Your responsibility is to clean that cup so that when He pours that water of life there, those blessings, you receive what's due to you. Let go, let God. And with this, I leave you. Peace be with you. Stay happy, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.